All right. All right. I think I'm live. Hello, everybody. Lori Swanson here, CEO and founder of Inspire Tech and Career Alchemy Academy, back from a week's vacation. So I'm still playing catch up. I was confused on it's like, where did my brain go, right? I was confused on where to find the link for today. I looked at the wrong place. So I feel like I'm scrambling a little bit. So I'm going to do what I would in pure coach mode, what I would coach my clients to do. I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths. I call it smell the flowers twice, blow out the candles. If you've been following me for a while, this is not uncommon to you, unusual. So here we go. 2 deep breaths in. So one full breath in through your nose, and then another one to completely fill your lungs, and a slow exhale out, blowing out the candles slowly. Breathing in peace and clarity and being centered. Breathing out any disjointed energy can go. All right, here I am. So as I mentioned, I was on vacation. We did put out a blog last week, but I did not do a LinkedIn Live. So if you are, I talked about, the title of last week's blog was When Your Calendar Looks Like a Library Bookshelf, like stacked book after book, meeting after meeting. And I told the story of, uh, many, many years ago, I was super excited to go to my therapist and tell her how I set up my vacation plan. I said, so I'm going to work some in the morning, and then I'm going to, hang out with the kids at the beach, and then we'll come back, and after we eat, they'll play some shuffleboard with their friends, and I'll check my emails, and I'll do a little more work, and then we'll do some more fun stuff. Then they'll go to bed, then I'll check my emails again. I was thinking, isn't this a great plan? Like, doing stuff in the morning, then having this time, and then doing a little more stuff, and then having the time, and then doing a little more stuff, and then having the time with the kids. Work for vacation, work, vacation, work, vacation. And she was like looking at me, and she's said, I'm not sure you're clear on what the meaning of the word vacation is. And then she told me that it's the Latin root for, and I don't, vacare, meaning to be empty, free, and at leisure. And I I realized that none of what my vacation sounded like was free, empty, and at leisure. It was filled up time, like planning out when I was going to work, when I was going to be with the kids, when I was going to work, when I was going to eat, when I was going to work, when I was going to be with the kids. And so it took me honestly a few years. That was the beginning, though, of me just having a sense that I wanted to prioritize the time that I was away to be leisurely. And it may be a factor of being a CEO, and yeah, there's so many excuses I could make, but read the blogs that I talk about how my calendar looked then, how my calendar looks now. And as always, some things we can do to continue to create the careers and lives that not only serve others, but fully serve ourselves, and that we can vacate and put our feet up. And I talk about mini vacations was the beginning of how I created a much what I would call a real vacation. Um, I started at taking mini vacations at work, and that changed everything for me in so many different ways. So go ahead. It's either, I think it's probably posted below here on LinkedIn in the articles or in our newsletter section, and you could certainly always find the blog at our website under resources, career blog, so inspiretech.com. And you can, I'm going to change as usual. I want to change my background so that you can get, this is, my career alchemy and one-on-one coaching. These are the things we work on, your vision, your path. And I talk about the tools that you're going to learn, the alchemist tools that you will learn when we coach together. But I also want to, here's a different background. Look at me. This is so fun, right? I also want you to have the link so that you can get to my website. And so we'll just do the Inspire Tech website today, something a little different. But what I do want to talk about today is the blog that came out this week, which was what I call what stands, or not what, who stands between your present soul-sucking career and your future career dreams. So who is it that's standing in between those? So I often hear people say, career change is hard. And, like eating healthy and exercising is hard, and job searches are hard, and relationships are hard. And I get it. Change is hard if we let it be hard. It really can be a choice. I know it seems a little crazy to think that, but you really can have a choice between thinking that something's going to be hard and deciding it's going to be maybe not easy, but let's say easier. So I want to share a practice with you in today's LinkedIn Live here and YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram. I don't know if we're live on Instagram, but I think we're on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube and LinkedIn here. So I want to share a practice that really did sort of like learning about mini vacations. This also profoundly changed me and changed how I approach my career and how I approach my life. And my belief in myself and my ability to turn my career dreams into reality, and so that they no longer felt like someday those will happen, kind of wishful thinking, or being surprised that something happened that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember wanting that, right? So what changed was I created what I call my bridge identity. So it's that version of me between my present self, which in some cases might be soul-sucking career self. For me, I really am enjoying, I feel like I was born to do this work, to serve as a coach. And, but also I have dreams. I have things that I want for myself. I have things I want for Career Alchemy Academy, my community, for my business in general, and, and that I want to create in my life with my friends and my family, all those things. So of course I have dreams. So it doesn't mean I'm necessarily fully dissatisfied with right now. I am actually really grateful for and appreciative and having fun in the right now. But also there's a part of me that is like, there's this future self that is living differently than I'm living right now. And it is the things that I'm dreaming about, putting on my vision boards, which I have a few, thinking about, wishing for. It's in this particular practice, your future self is already living it, right? So, but how do you get from who this person today, who's satisfied, perhaps fulfilled, or in a soul-sucking career and wants different, how do you get from here to there? When there can feel very far away, very fuzzy, because I think our future dreams often do have a little bit of a fuzz around them, not fully formed. That's normal. I just don't know if we realize that if that really is normal, that sometimes we think we have to have a very clear picture of where we're going. And I don't think that's true. I have a vision board. I think I've showed it before. One of my vision boards is just how I want to feel. So I have prosperous and peaceful. It's over here. Certain and free. And I think better than specifics about what the future might look like, your future self has an easier time with, I want to feel in my 6 months from now, I want to feel, uh, more peaceful in the work I'm doing, have more fun in the work I'm doing, feel more prosperous in my career. Those sorts of things. So then you can actually become feelings in the present moment easier than outward actions that haven't. You can't be what you're not yet, right? In the sense of in the present moment, I can't be 20 pounds thinner. In my future self is 20 pounds thinner. And so, but in this present moment, how I want to feel confident, um, in love with myself, accepting, like those feelings I can access right now, which are the exact same feelings that my future self is having. So stick with me here. So between who we are now and where we're going with the outward evidence that our dreams have become reality, there is a version of you that I call your bridge identity. So in order to get there, I think it's really helpful to write out what I'm going to say. There's just something about pen to paper, right? But you do you. So if you want to do it on a phone, if you're not in a place where you can write this out, you can think through what I'm saying right now. Come back and listen to this recording later. We have it. I think it's definitely going to be posted on LinkedIn. And so we want to talk about your present self, who you are today. So you start with your present self and you ask your present self, what is it that you want different in your career? And again, let's say just 2 months from now, 3 months from now. I honestly like really small chunks of time. I like to work with smaller chunks of time. I'm not into the 3-year, 5-year plans necessarily. And caveat to that is that I'm very patient for however long something wants to take to become part of my reality. If I decide I'm going to work on some things that I think can very much happen in 3 months. And if they don't, I'm totally good with that. Like they take as long as they take, whatever I need to learn that I haven't learned yet, whatever I need to call in, whatever resources I might need that I didn't, for whatever reasons, wasn't able to, um, bring into being at that point or access. No problem. It could take 5 years. It takes as long as it takes. A job search takes as long as it takes, right? So but in any case, I do like a little bit of smaller goals. And so my present self, my future self. So what is it that you want in your career 6 months from now? Is it that you want better work-life balance, or maybe you want greater confidence, more money, you want a stronger community, more connection, you want to have more fun in your career, you want to be on some impactful project, like just write all of those things down that you are craving, that you're yearning for in your career. Maybe you want, again, a more flexible schedule. All of those things, just write them down. Maybe you want more patience. It can be some qualities like that. Maybe you want a leadership opportunity. Maybe you want to, your future self is being more visible in your career. Even though your present self gets uncomfortable with it, you would love for your future self to feel more comfortable with, being visible, going to networking events, raising your hand at meetings, those sorts of things. So just whatever it is, 6 months from now, what would you like to see different? And then now let's imagine that it is 6 months from now and that your future self is that the things that you wrote down in your present day, what you were yearning for, are now a reality. You're energized and using your strengths. You're communicating with clarity and confidence. You're respected. You feel deeply satisfied in your work. You're making a difference. You have respect. You have greater work-life balance. You're having more fun. you're on a really cool project or in a new job at a different company that values you in a way that you've been yearning for. You're asking for and receiving support. You feel well paid. You feel calm and centered. You know that that you're using your gifts in service to the company that you work for, or let's say your business plan is for your own, becoming your own boss is on its way, and you feel energized by that. You're a beacon for your team. You're trusting and acting on your inner wisdom and your spirit-centered guidance more frequently. That's always something that I have like recognized in my present day that I do, and that that my future self is doing it even more. It's my future self is completely in tune with this inner voice that never steers me wrong. Never steers me wrong. It's my free will that'll mess with me a little bit, but my inner wisdom, that guidance that comes from that divine line that we all have connecting us to our what I call spiritual board of advisors and guides and support systems, our expanded self, like soul, whatever you want to call it, that's always available to us. And so I would love for all of you to put on your list that your future self is fully believing and trusting in this inner guidance system that is pointing it in the right direction, because when that happens, doors open and close because they're supposed to, right? And when that happens, worry, guilt, fear are really minimized because you've begun to trust that inner voice. So off I go. When you're a career I can't even say that, career wayfinder coach, like I am, and a spirit-centered pragmatic coach like I am, I can send me on a tangent of spirit-centered conversation, and you got to reel me back in. So I'm reeling myself back in right now. So we talked about step one, which is just writing down all the yearnings that your present self has, all the things that your present self would like to see different or expand, what some good stuff that's already happening, but grow that. The second step was to imagine your future self. And so the way I do that is I imagine that there's a path. It doesn't have to be super long, but there's like for me, I use kind of like a pea gravel path, or a path inside of a pine needle path in a woods. And then in front of me is this big tree where my future self is standing there, again, maybe a little fuzzy, but it's there. And I imagine myself being there, already having all of the things that my present self has yearned for. And then you begin to realize that the problem was never where you are now. And also the problem isn't that you're not where you want to be. The problem is that you haven't created a bridge identity that can carry you from this version of yourself to that version of yourself. So, step 3 is to meet your bridge identity. So I'm going to go through a list of characteristics of a bridge identity, and then you can claim the ones that resonate with you. You can add more of your own, but your bridge identity, the way I think about it is it's asking your future self, what did I do to help you manifest or create these dreams? Like, I yearn for them here, present day. You're already living them. What did I do right now? What's in my control? What decisions and choices can I make as my bridge identity that's bringing me from here to there? What are these things I'm doing that are actually making that happen? Because it really is in your control. We sometimes think our future selves are so far out there and maybe it'll never be attainable. But in fact, if your present self just asks, hey, future self, what did I do that helped you create that project? What was it that I did? And something, again, this inner guidance system will rise inside of you. So here are some characteristics of your bridge identity. Your bridge identity accepts that change is hard. So your bridge identity doesn't try to fight the hard or resist the hard. It just knows that the hard is there and it's okay. And that's why I can keep taking another step towards your future self, because it accepts it's hard. Your bridge identity knows that missteps are going to happen. And when in coaching, one of the tools I use that I've mentioned before, the career retrospective, it's an evaluation tool where we make sure that we never lose the lesson, right? And that we gain the alchemy gold that lets us let go of any regret or self-blame or worry or blame, self-blame or guilt that might have occurred, because it can't exist when we know that we've captured the gold, right? So we know they're likely going to happen on the path from where we are today to our future self, where our future is self is standing and celebrating the dreams come true, right? We're not inviting in the hard. We're not inviting in missteps, but we are comfortable embracing it, not resisting the hard, embracing the misstep for the goal that's in there. Your bridge identity has tools like the career retrospective, the mindset model, the things that I teach. It will have those tools to use and access along the way, decision-making tools that we teach inside Career Alchemy Academy and with my one-on-one coaching. It will have a sense of values alignment. It will have tools to connect with that inner voice that will help it when it's unsure that the step isn't, the step becomes on solid ground versus a misstep into the sludge and the quicksand that you'll need to work your way out of. So your bridge identity has tools to help navigate the hazy path and get through the hard on its way to the future self. And not only do they have these tools, this is really key, they use them. Your bridge identity uses the tools. We often have tools we can call on. Like, I know, having been someone who's done, who's been on a journey of, health and weight loss and physical fitness and, doing, it's just been one of those cycles. There are times where my head will be like, you could drink more water right now. And then I don't, right? And that's sort of, it's like sad for your future self. Your future self is like, oh, darn, I wish that would be something that would be really helpful right now. That would accelerate your progress to losing weight. It would accelerate your progress to, being less dehydrated, and I get dehydrated and yet I fight and resist water drinking. Crazy. But anyways, so that's the thing, is your bridge identity has tools available and uses them. You're no longer saying, why bother, or who has the time? You just pick up a tool and you use it, even when you don't wanna. Your bridge identity also understands that when things feel hard, they're growing. So growth means that you've left the safety of your comfort zone, and there's a sense of pride in that. And your future self is like, yep, it was hard right there at that step, but look where I am. I kept going, I didn't stop, and now this dream is realized. And I think super important, the bridge identity asks for help. So in the form of hiring a coach, joining a coaching community like Career Alchemy Academy, connecting with a mentor, calling a friend, when they start to feel out of sync in their pursuit of their dreams, that again, it is a tool in a way, but asking for help is a tool, right? They do it. They don't, again, think, oh, it's late, or I'm tired, or maybe late. They don't do any of that. They just like, I'm getting help. I'm scheduling a call with Lori, which is on my website, by the way. Look under private coaching and you can schedule a call with me. So your bridge identity, I want to give sort of another example that I use quite a bit. But it's the same thing. So let's imagine that you've decided that you want to start to strength train and you haven't done any strength training in years, right? If ever. And so you head to the gym and you start with the 5-pound weights and you're just doing your bicep lifts, 5-pound weights, and it feels, and you want to do, let's say 30 reps. And by the time you're at 22, 23, it's kind of difficult. And that may be a lot of reps, but just, it's part of my example. So 30 reps at 5 pounds, but then you keep doing it 3 times a week. You're doing your biceps, you're doing those 5 pounds. And then one day you're like, oh my gosh, I am like getting to 30 reps like nothing. That means that you've sort of reached a point of level set. And now you need to pick up a heavier weight, a harder weight, so that you can start to get to 10 pounds as easily. Then your comfort zone is really moving. It's like how you have a comfort zone now, and then how do you expand that comfort zone so the stuff that used to feel outside of your comfort zone is now inside your comfort zone, and you have a new capacity that's been built. You have a new limit. I think there's a book that I taught by Dr. Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap, and he talks about going into your zone of genius is just on the other side of your comfort zone, right? And so we want to move you into that. And how you do that is as soon as 10 pounds, starts to feel easy. Now you've expanded your comfort zone from now 5 pounds is in your comfort zone, 10 pounds is in your comfort zone. You go right to 20 and you're like, I don't have to I can do bigger leaps, right? Because I know that that will be easy for me. And now I'm doing 20 pounds 30 times, no problem. So that's what I want you to think about is that each step along the way, each hard thing that happens is just building your capacity, building your strength, building your ability to be with the hard, challenging those limiting thoughts that you can't do something or, and look ahead and see your future self cheering you on, saying, you got this. You know how I know? Because I'm here, already did it. Your future self is saying, right? So that is another way to kind of think about your bridge identity. Your bridge identity is building muscle, building strength, building capacity, moving out your comfort zone, creating a new level of what's hard. That used to be hard is no longer hard, right? And so, and you never go backwards because this is sort of a permanent change. Like you become the person that takes these, steps towards their future self, even if it feels fuzzy, even if it feels hard, even if they're, not sure. It knows it has tools it can lean into to help during the process. So the question is, do you want to stay in the comfort zone of the lighter weights, just doing what you're continuing to do that you've been doing right now? Or do you want to become your future self, the person who's already living the dream, already stronger, already more accomplished, already feeling the joy of being even just 6 months from now in a different place, a more fulfilling career, a more, all the things, more money, more flexibility. Again, do I know exactly how it'll all transform and unfold? Will some things get slowed down? Absolutely, because it's as if we're building a new habit, right? I know that we have this bridge identity that we're in charge of, like it's in our control, that we can take each step and do these hard things and keep moving forward. And our limiting thoughts can still come in. And We can let things throw us off course, but even that, you become, kind of, you catch on to yourself and you're like, oh, there's that saboteur again. I don't play with the saboteur anymore. I stick with my bridge identity, who is completely aligned with my future, present self and future self. It's the bridge that's getting me there one plank at a time, right? So find your bridge identity, set a new personal best, uh, you know, get support if you need it, and keep coming back here to LinkedIn Lives, where I'll just drop my little, who knows where this comes from. We do know, right? I mean, seriously, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about on LinkedIn Live. I don't know what I'm going to write about in my blog. And then I just sit still for a minute and something comes, sometimes it's more than a minute, sometimes, but this is true. It's just how we are, natural problem solvers. But even better than our left brain problem solving is when we offer up the problem to our expanded self, to whatever you want to call it, your divine self, your, spirit guides. Once you offer that up to them and you're like, hey, I don't know about what to do next, but they do. They've got all the plans, right? So they've seen not only your present self, but they see your dreams. They see what your future self, what your present self is yearning for. They see the bridge identity moving forward, creating a future self each step of the way that's closer to these bigger dreams. That bridge identity, is like the 5-pound weight at first. Your present self is, let's say, the 5-pound weight. Then the bridge identity takes some steps, reaches into their toolkit, accepts the hard, gets the gold from the missteps. And now it's, the 15-pound weight. It's a new version of itself, and on you go. So I believe in you. I know that your dreams are possible, and you can have the career in life that you yearn for. So let's go. Let's do it. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great week. I'm here next week, I think, same time, same place. I don't think I've adjusted my LinkedIn Live for next week. So 1 o'clock Central Time on Wednesdays. And let's just see what this week brings. Talk to you soon. I'm on Zoom.